I have finally figured out how to counter pointless returns on Mercari. So the way Mercari's rules have changed and flipped upside down recently, and with all the hassle and stuff with returns, I had to figure out a way to counter the buyers and figure out a way to where the pointless returns of, I just don't like the item, or I shouldn't have just bought this item, or I just need the money back because I don't got the money and I shouldn't have spent it. Obviously, when you send something, you either take it and you put it in some bubble wrap it up nice, put it in like either a box or a poly mailer and send it out. Then when the buyer gets it, they open it up, they tear it, whatever, they rip it open, they look at it, do whatever, they might use it, they just don't like it, so they want to return it. Well, now they stick it back in the box and they just crumple everything back on top. They may take their own one piece of tape and put it on top just to keep it from opening, but that's about it. It looks like a piece of trash when you get returned into the mail. Like, me as a seller, when I get returns back and it's in a box or a package, it literally looks like the person just crammed everything back into it and put the original taping back onto it and left it, because sometimes they'll just be open, as in the packages will be open when I receive them. The way I have figured out how to counter many of these returns is, one thing I have figured out, obviously it's the main thing, is priority boxes that you get from USPS. They're only allowed priority mail. This may not be a good thing on my side, but it is what it is. But mainly when you get a return from Mercari, you get a label that's usually from like USPS or wherever it was, FedEx or whatever you sent it through. So what I started doing is, when I get like a package from USPS that's going to be shipping USPS, FedEx, or UPS, now instead of putting it inside of a poly mailer or inside of a regular box, I will take the item and I will stick it in a USPS priority mailbox. And then I'll take that box and I'll tape it up nice and well, really nice. And I'll take a brown cardboard paper, whatever you want to call it, wrapping paper, and I'll wrap the package in that, tape it up nice and well. Very nice. So that way when they open it, they have to literally cut the tape open and everything. When the buyer goes to remove the brown paper from around the box, they have to cut it with a pair of scissors, or they have to rip it real well. So once they get into the box and say they get their item and they use it, they do whatever, a couple of days later, a few days later, they just decided, well, I shouldn't have spent the money on that. I just need it for something else. I'm going to have to return it. Well, when they go to return that box, and with that label, whatever that label says that Mercari sent them, say it says UPS, or say USPS ground, or UPS or FedEx, they can't just take that item, stick it back in that priority box, and tape it and take it to the post office and send it, because that's a priority mailbox and they can't use that. So this requires the buyer that's sending it back to me, to actually use their own box, their own packaging, and make sure that thing's taped. So that way, when I receive it, I'm not receiving an open box, a damaged box, a box that's all mashed up. And this is the way I've figured out that when they have to return something to you, they don't want to do all that. So more than likely, they're just going to cancel the return. Either they're going to cancel the return and they're going to keep that product, or they're going to go through the trouble and having to repack that package, use a new box, whatever, and they're going to have to pay the cost on that. So technically, it's a way around of getting a bunch of pointless returns to stay away. If you're new to Mercari or anything like that and you don't know what I'm talking about by the return, is if they have a USPS, say a vintage ground label from Mercari that they're returning the package to me with, they can't put that on a priority mailbox. So what they've got to do is they got to pay the extra price to put that on there and send it, or they got to use a whole new box. So it just kind of, if they have to use a new box, then either they got to find a new box and the packaging material and tape, or they can buy it right there at the post office. It's going to cost them more. So this is just a way around it that I have found. When it comes to UP or the USPS priority boxes, they can't take say the post office and all that, they can't take the brown wrapping paper off the outside of it, because it's technically opening the package to see what's inside of it. So they can't actually do nothing if you're using that box under brown paper, even though you're not supposed to. But that's the trick about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe down below.